Good morning, everybody, and this is your S&P 500 day trade setups for today. Just starting off on the weekly, you can see we've got a weekly move below this trend line. We are still between the moving averages though, so not really panicking just yet. If we start dropping below the 155, we'll come back and test the levels I'm going to give you just now. That is going to be relatively painful for the bulls, and there are a few gaps to the downside. There are also quite a few levels that we need to pay attention to. So everything hinges on these levels that we're going to look at today. Look at the weekly oscillators. They've crossed over and they're pointing down and they have separated. So this here that we see could be a weekly flag, and I'm just going to put the top of the flag on, which is there. So that would mean from a weekly perspective, and guys, don't take this as gospel just yet. That's why we have a macro view and then we look at the lower time charts to see exactly what's going on, and just have a look at what lines up in this area for this measured move. We've got a swing high, we've got some structure here, we've got some support here as well. So let's just put that next level in. So look at that. That measured move takes us slap bang into the middle of this, and that would be pretty interesting to say the least. Anyway, let's get down to the hour. I just need to get rid of some of this noise. So we have some support at this trend line at the moment. Remember, it's never an exact science. It is here. We did have a range with potential to the bottom here, but we needed to get above that structure for it to move up. Oscillators at the moment are tired. I wouldn't be wanting to jump in short just yet. We do have a very strong area of potential support here. So we've had a look at that at the weekly, so you need to pay attention to this. It's only once we've moved below this, come back and test it, that you can short off this level. I would not be shorting off this level just yet. Moving on to 3 hour, and you can see everything was pretty much sideways. I mean, I gave up on this market somewhere in here. We hadn't seen a break yet. And then after hours, you get this structure to the downside. So I'm not going to read too much into it. I think you're more than likely going to find price coming back to test this, or alternatively get back into the range. We start breaking above the top of this range here, and that is at 39.65. Then we're more than likely heading back to 4,000. One thing to point out here is 4,000 is not being respected at all. So we attempt to respect it, but it doesn't happen. So we get above it, below it, above it, below it. So that is a fairly interesting level. It's a very strong level that we need to keep in the back of our mind moving forward. Moving on to the hour, and you can see what I'm talking about. So this is basically the last couple of hours of trading. So this is after hours. So it's these two here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of the last 4 hours of trading where we fell. Are below the moving averages, so we should have been expecting it to the downside, but in my experience, well, the longer this goes on, the higher the probability that you might as well just toss a coin. So at the moment, we're looking for a retest. We haven't got a retest, so this is the area to retest. That's 39.18, but please bear in mind that each one of these tails would offer potential opportunities. So you just don't know where the institutions are going to turn it around. So they'd want it up here to make money as well, so that wait for it to get up and then push it down. Obviously, there are some strong players who are trying to get it below this level. And at the moment, 38.60 is the area where there is a significant amount of puts in the market. So that is their strike price. So if they get there, they're going to be making money. So expect this to just hang around here for a bit, I think, or even bounce around and get quite volatile. But for me, I'm looking at this from the 15-minute perspective. There wasn't really much going on here. You had a bit of an attempt at the level, which you may have been able to jump in short share because you're below the 155. Thing is, that's 155 points in one bar, and put that into perspective. Last year you'd look at 100 points a day and you'd be able to be doing 50 to 60 point stop losses, some cases 20 point stop losses on this market. You can't do that at the moment because it is so volatile. Well, you haven't been able to do it all year because it's been so volatile. So for the market to move 100 points in one day, whereas last year it would move 100 points in a day, whereas now it's moving it in a 15-minute and sometimes in a 5-minute, even a 1-minute candle. If you look at a 5-minute setup and you look at that, you can see there's your structure, but that is swinging 100 points. So this pin bar here was a 100-point pin bar, which is insane. So you're looking at 160-point stop loss on a 5-minute bar, which should never be happening. That should be like a 20, 30 point, and then you've got 400-point gains. Anyway, just shows you how, when you're volatile, get down to the lowest possible time frame you can stomach, and keep your levels on the hour, and that will help you make decisions in your favor. Anyway, so moral of the story for me today is wait for a retest. We've got a bit of a gap here. I just want to double check if we've got gaps on the 15-minute on the way down. Don't think I saw any. Nope, just this one here. So you do have gaps. Each one of these levels, remember we've got our structure in. Now pay attention to each one of these tails here. Every one of these tails can offer resistance. And that's what you need to wait for. Also bear in mind that on the weekly, very rare that we get a close on our low. So you could find some profit taking happening, which will give us a weekly tail. But this zone that we're just underneath at the moment is very, very important. If we start breaking through this properly today, then Monday is going to be an interesting day for a bunch of setups to the downside. So yeah, that's kind of me for today. Looking to go with the trend which is down, but really looking for support higher up or resistance higher up. So we need to bounce off resistance for me to be in the market. Otherwise, we just sit and we wait quietly until we have the setup that is going to pay us money. Anyway, guys, hope that helps, and I will catch up with you on Monday morning. Enjoy your weekend. Cheers for now.